This podcast is sponsored by Tusk, a continuity of business solution for industries that struggle with traditional banking. Check them out on the web at tusk.network. The Rob McNealy program is the nexus of cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, and entrepreneurship. Now, welcome to the program. Today, we're talking to Mark Wittenberg. He's with the core team of Verge Currency, project out of Canada. So I just want to welcome him to the show, and let's see what they're doing up north in Snow, Mexico. Mark, how are you doing today?
It's very snowy, and it's about minus 18 Celsius, I think, right now. I'm literally looking out my window and can't see a car because all I see is white.
Yeah, that's how it is in June, typically in Canada. That's how I foresee it, or I
Yeah.
always kind of imagine it happening. I actually grew up in the Detroit area in Michigan, and so I spent a lot of time in Canada when I was growing up. A lot of people don't know that Canada has a lower drinking age than the United States. It's 19. And so a lot of people in the United States, at least it used to be this way. It's a little harder now, I think, now that you need an actual passport to go to Canada. But when I was growing up and just in my late teens, you just needed a driver's license to go across the Detroit River to Windsor, Ontario, and go drink at 19 versus 21. So it's like in Michigan, like when I was growing up, you went from 19 to 21, you spent every weekend in Canada partying and drinking away and stuff. So I don't know if it's quite that way now, but that's how it was a long time ago.
It's still 18 in Alberta here. So, I mean, I remember like you could actually smoke cigarettes, I think, at 16 way back in the day. But yeah, it's 18 to drink in Alberta. So a lot of people, even from BC and the East, they come here to drink. So
that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You guys are just different up there, but I guess it's colder, so you need to warm up more. I don't understand.
That's right.
So, Mark, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the crypto space? What was kind of I always like to know, I want to know what people's, what brought them to the crypto world?
It's, I think my family was in crypto. I think they got into Bitcoin at like 2010 or something at 8 cents or something. I don't know, but that's when I first learned about it. And then fast forward, I think I opened up my first exchange account in like January of 2016. I think I can't really remember. I think Litecoin was like $3 and something. I don't know, but I've been following kind of ever since, in and out, just following online, and was following it kind of moving forward. And then I really jumped in, and about the middle of 2017 is when I really jumped in. And then when we had that false bull run, I was all the way in. And I picked up on Verge Currency as a project and thought it really fit kind of who I am as a person as far as the privacy aspect goes. So, I mean, for me, my everyday life is pretty private. My everyday business is based on, privacy and stuff like that. So I think for me, Verge Currency really fit who I am as a person. And of course, the non-ICO, non-pre-mine, all volunteer aspect definitely fit with who I am. I always figured if as a project, if you're non-ICO, non-pre-mine volunteer, and you're privacy focused, then everybody's going to work hard. There's no personal gain, right, from being, what people call a staff member, which we're not. There's no personal gain from it. We're going to get out what we put in. So, and I noticed the community at that time was really large too. So I thought, you know what, like this project's great. And I started talking to some of the core members online, and that's kind of where it went. So I think I became part of core in beginning of maybe April or March or April 2018 is when I officially became core member to help try to drive Verge Currency forward. So, yeah.
So Verge is it's a fork of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, Dogecoin
Originally.
Dark. Yeah, it's Bitcore, but Dogecoin Dark. It's a fork of it's a fork of Dogecoin Dark.
You guys have been around for 4 or 5 years, that I think. So you guys are almost like OG in this space as far as crypto projects go. But I always joke around and say I've been in the space as a project not even 2 years, and like I'm like an old dog now, in crypto, because crypto is such a young industry, right? It's like everybody is new. There's not like experts in this space, as far as I see it. And I think people that put themselves out there as experts are just kind of nonsense, you know. Um, but it's funny, like you go on like some of these people's LinkedIn's, and like they're like 40 years old, and they got like 3 years of experience, and it only goes back 3 years, and it's only crypto related, and you're like, okay, you scrubbed your LinkedIn, you didn't do anything for the last 30 years. And I always joke around, like my LinkedIn looks like pretty schizophrenic because I didn't delete anything out. It's got, you can see where I've been my whole life. I'm old. I would expect someone who's 45 or 50 to have a pretty extensive LinkedIn. But you guys started a while ago, and so tell me what's different about Verge Currency, say, than Doge or Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash.
I mean, as far as Bitcoin goes, we're more scalable. I think, Bitcoin, personally, I see Bitcoin as a store of value, possibly. It's not scalable. It's not quick. It's
not cheap.
No, it's not cheap. And, Verge is based on transaction speed. I don't know what the exact speed is, but we're quick. We're quick. And, we've got the privacy option. We're kind of branding towards the whole digital payment arena now. So yeah, we are a crypto, but I kind of like to refer to us as a digital payment option, because I think generationally, I think people will get that a whole lot more than crypto. So when I look at us, I speak to our potential partners that, like we're a digital payment option for sure. But yeah, definitely quick and cheap. So that's a big benefit to us.
Well, I think that's a good point, is that, crypto right now has like, a really bad stigma out there, thanks to the news media and thanks to all the scammers in the space. They really have, in a lot of ways, a lot of crypto people have brought it on themselves, especially some of these toxic maximalists that are out there that are really, really negative and hostile to anybody that they feel is competition to whatever their favorite project is. But I think that's smart to explain it like we're just a payment system. We're not, you don't just hype the crypto piece. Whereas I think a lot of maximalists really want to push the crypto piece, not realizing how the general population seems to see it at this point.
I totally agree. And I mean, I'm not that guy to get along with maximalists. I don't go to a lot of local meetups here, just for that reason. I know there's a couple OG maximalists in Canada here that I don't typically talk to. When you look at the whole market, when you take the whole population of the world and say 3% is aware, or 3% has heard of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, and then you get the maximalists, what percent are they now? So who are they marketing to? I don't agree with a maximalist way of thinking. I really don't. I don't understand it, and I don't know why they just can't embrace these people that think that Bitcoin's going to be the only one.
Well, it's kind of like religion. I mean, and I've seen this with like any political activism out there. I've been a political activist a good chunk of my life as well. And I think the problem is that so many people that are really tie up their identity with something. They it's like the Bitcoin activists that have been around, who have been pushing for 5, 6, 7 years, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. And for a long time, Bitcoin didn't have any competitors. There wasn't really substitutes for a long time. And then what happens is when these guys they put their ego out there, and they're the ones that say Bitcoin will take over the world. They make these crazy, proclamations, and then they have to dig themselves in. And then when things change, they just dig in further, instead of recognizing maybe they were a little wrong, or maybe they weren't 100% right, or, what have you. And I think part of that's just ego. I mean, more than anything, they've tied their identity to this one prediction or this one way of things, that they want it to be this one way. Mm-hmm. And then I think when they get challenged on that, they get really defensive. I mean, to me, that's what it is. And it's like, the problem is that they're going to lose out. if they continue
Yeah.
down that track.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an entrepreneur. You know, I am not a developer. Our project's a little, you know, we're a developer, or not a developer, but we're an entrepreneur-led team. So we
Right.
have multiple entrepreneurs on the team,
Yeah.
and we view it as a product. Even though we're a decentralized project, we also we feel crypto is a project. It's a product that needs to be marketed, and it's a product that needs to be, you know, you got to view the competitors to your product. You know,
Yeah.
the people that are currently the substitute systems that are in place. So to me, well, I'll give a great example. Last night, I was actually filling out an application to get list Tusk on an exchange.
Right.
And one of the questions is, it says, who are your competitors? And they wanted us to put like what other crypto is our competitors. And I said Visa, MasterCard, and American Express are our competitors, because that is who our competitors are and how we view it. And it's just our perspective on things. And I think the maximalists out there, you know, they'll overlook things that are just ridiculous. you know, I take it like the people that still think that, you know, I still believe in the original Bitcoin white paper where it is supposed to be digital cash.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bitcoin core team, you know, they veered from that. They went down one track. Their community said, you know, they dropped the pretense of being digital cash because of I think they recognize that the scalability issues are insurmountable at this point for their project. I think it's more politics than anything. But I think what's happened now, their store value. But to me, the killer app for crypto is payments. That is the killer app.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You have the biggest market for people who use digital payments. And to me, you know, trying to focus on DeFi or whatever some of the other projects are out there, I think, you know, as an entrepreneur, you know, you have to look at the market size. You know, I think this is one of the things that a lot of it, just outside of crypto too, is that one of the big reasons businesses fail is that there's not a big enough market for the idea.
Right.
You know, and that's a lot of that. And entrepreneurs think like this, developers don't.
Right.
And just because it's a cool idea or the technology is neat doesn't mean that it's a sustainably sized market.
Right.
And the unicorns, you know, businesses and startups like the Amazon.coms, they look at how big the market is.
Yep.
For that product or service, and then they start looking and doing analysis, and can they reach them, and how much of a, you know, share can they take out of that market. And so we always looked at, if you're going to do a crypto project, payments is the number one biggest market.
Right.
And so to me, to veer away from that and go to store value, because think of it this way, like store value, right? What's the current leading store value in the world?
What is the store of gold?
Yeah, right. It is. That's the biggest, most widely accepted store of value in the planet right now. And how many everyday people care about gold? Now, I like gold and silver. I'm not as a crypto guy. I like all asset class. I like real estate. I like art. I like startups. I like precious metals. So I'm not anti-precious metals either. But the question is, how many people out there care about precious metals right now? You know, everyday person on the street. Not
very
many.
few. Very few.
Right. So to me, goes back to the size of the market. What's a bigger market? A store of value market?
Right.
Or the market that is for payments. And to me, goes back to market size. The store value market's a very small community. You're basically trying to argue with, you know, gold bugs. And there's not, I mean, obviously there's still millions of those around the planet, but gold bugs are also very tangible oriented. They're very tactile. They want to feel something. And I know a lot of gold bugs, and the gold bugs that I know don't like anything digital. They don't like cashless society. So I don't understand. So to me, strategically, I don't know where Bitcoin's going to end up, but I think the store of value direction is not a good direction for the project. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not making predictions on that, but I just say from a market size, and I just don't like it. I just don't think it's a great market size to go after. And I think it was an admission of failure from their original, you know, kind of killer app. The original, you know, mission of Bitcoin was to be peer-to-peer digital cash, and store value is not that. So you guys have been around for a while. You guys are a community-based project. So what has Verge done up today? What would you say Verge's niche market or where are they trying to position themselves in the whole space these days?
I think for me personally, and I can't speak to the other core team members because we're all independent. Um, there there is no market for myself as far as I'm concerned with Verge. We're a currency, so we should be accepted as a currency, whether it's MindGeek, one of our partners, accepting us for their online platform and in their live streams and stuff like that, or whether it's the Manny Pacquiao Foundation accepting Verge, for donation avenue. We're a currency, so the way I look at Verge is if I have fiat, if I have a $20 bill in my pocket and I can spend that anywhere, then I should be able to spend Verge anywhere as well. And the benefit to us is, everything is our market. So, I'll touch every industry because we want to be in every industry. You look at the way cashless payments are going now with, I think even the next Olympics are trying to reduce their cash. I think they're trying to reduce their cash like 40% or something. So they're going cashless. Everything is going cashless. You go, especially in Canada here, everything's tap, tap, go, tap, tap, go, tap this, tap that, tap everything. It's like, this is absolutely the perfect direction for a project like ours. And to be quite frank, it's perfect for many projects. But with 26 or 2,700 or 2,800 projects out there, it's going to consolidate for sure. There's going to be a lot of these projects that had ICOs. Maybe they're not going to be around anymore. Maybe they went dry. Maybe they spent all their money. Maybe they bought whatever they bought because they thought they're going somewhere different. I don't know. But being a community-based project, I think maybe I'm a bit wrong, but I think we're about 800,000 now supporters worldwide. And our reach is huge. And you look at other projects, and again, there's other projects that have great communities too. And I'll be the first to say it. Digibyte has another great community, and they're in the same space we are. But back to your question, what have we done up to now? I mean, we partnered with MindGeek. We've partnered with the Manny Pacquiao Foundation, so you can offer donations. He can accept donations in Verge and, of course, Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum. For Manny Pacquiao to go out and build some homes for the less fortunate out in the Philippines and hopefully worldwide. Where else are we accepted? Excel Trip, PayCent. Like there's not an industry that we shouldn't touch. It doesn't matter what that industry is. Again, when you take your $20 bill or your credit card or whatever you're going to do, and some guy wants to go buy a gun with his money, he's going to go buy a gun with his money. If he wants to go buy adult content, he's going to go buy adult content with his fiat. So if Verge wants to be a replacement or run alongside like a rail to fiat, then we should be accepted in every industry.
I totally agree. So as you guys are also a decentralized project. How do you guys, yeah. I mean, just on that, I'm always curious how the projects kind of work day to day. How do you guys deal with partnerships? Do you have a foundation that's kind of doing the outreach for that? Or how do you guys structure it as far as managing your project?
Oh boy, that's a great question. We have a very large core team. And we also have community outreach teams. So we have different layers, I guess you could say, of outreach. So, typical day to day, I mean, I'm known in our core team to talk a lot. So guys like to put me on mute because I'm usually in every channel all the time. But so let's just say we have 25 core members. We've got a dev team and an outreach team. We've got a graphics team. We've got a video team. As far as outreach goes, because we're decentralized, we're all kind of working on our own thing on our own time. Some guy's going to have 1 hour a week. Some guy's going to have 20 hours a week. Some guy's going to have 60 hours a week. It's all going to be different. So when we get into these layers, we have our group chat in Discord, and then we have like an admin mod group in Facebook chat. So, that's another layer as well, where we we can talk to our admins and mods of like Facebook, Twitter, stuff like, of our different online platforms and relay stuff that way. So, right now we have, I think, 11 different Facebooks that I'm managing worldwide. So when we push to our main one, I'll push to, I think, maybe about 9, 10 or 11 different Facebooks that I'll push to. Then we have Instagram, then we have Twitter, main Twitter accounts, and then we Blockfolio, stuff like that. So, and then we have another aspect to Verge as well, which is fueled by Verge. So that's when we're bringing on, say, somebody with some talent that wants to support us, like Gil. He's a NASCAR driver. He's a really big Verge Currency supporter. So we have that fueled by Verge aspect, especially Danny. He's our little 10-year-old Moto MX racer. So he'll go to the US or to Canada and do a bunch of races there, and he'll spread the word about Verge Currency as well, but through a different, as A through a 10-year-old and B through Moto X. So we have that aspect, and we do esports as well. And Adam Night Shadow, he typically does this esports stuff. So a typical day to day with us, I mean, it's craziness. It's full on craziness. It's everybody's working on different stuff. We got different opinions in our core team, and we're not all going to get along at all times. And it's I guess you want to say we're in a bear market right now, whatever somebody wants to call it. If you're focused on price alone, I guess you can say we're in a bear market. But we're working harder right now than I think we were when the coin was, or when the currency was pumping. I think we are certainly working harder now. We're more focused now than we were when it was pumping.
So where are you guys right now on your roadmap? What would be the next thing you guys are trying to accomplish with your project?
I think more collaborations, more partnerships. Awareness is key for me. So we're fortunate enough to join a Telegram group. I'm in a Telegram group with Change Angel. So I don't know if you're familiar with Change Angel, but lots of people are. So they've brought in a whole bunch of different communities, projects into one Telegram chat. And man, that's one of the best ideas this space could ever come up with, is somebody to take the reins and bring 10 or 11 different projects into one Telegram chat where we're all pushing each other for awareness. So for me, it's going to be about awareness of digital payments. That's what's next for myself anyway. I know the dev team, Justin, Marp, and Sven and Manuel, they're working on their respective wallets right now. So I just let them be. I'm not a dev guy, so I try not to get involved too much in the dev talk, or else it won't let me focus on what I'm doing. But moving forward, I'm just trying to bring awareness to the space in general, and I think it's important that for me, I bring awareness to Bitcoin as well, because this is what people are going to know. In fact, they may know Ethereum, they may know Litecoin as well. For me, it's bringing awareness to the space in general, and then also bringing awareness to Verge Currency while I'm bringing awareness to the space.
So when you're talking to, say, retailers, what's your pitch? What do you guys say you guys should accept Verge? Why?
Oh, my pitch, I just jam a pamphlet down on their table and say, let's go. No, I mean, they're accepting digital anyway. So these retailers are already accepting digital. They're accepting tap, they're accepting NFC, Apple Pay, WePay, whatever pay they're doing, Google Pay, credit, they're already accepting digital. So all it is trying to find the right avenue to accept something like Verge into their system. Now, retailers is a whole different game, because of course there's so much with settlement, and they've got to have the retailers have to have the right partnership on board as well. It's not just, hey, walk in the door and these guys are going to be like, hey, there's Verge. Yeah, let's just accept it. I'll hook up tomorrow. There's partnerships that they have to have dealer agreements with the settlement company. They've got to have retailer agreements with whatever POS terminal they're using. And then that POS terminal, wherever they're getting it from, they have to have an agreement with the app that they're downloading. So it's not just as simple as saying accept Verge Currency, because we need an off ramp. We need to have a settlement company on our end too that's going to be able to handle the liquidity and settle with us real time. So, and that's still a challenge in this space as well. So as far as a pitch to the retailer, I think for now it's about awareness. That when I sit and talk to people, it's right now it's about awareness until the space grows.
Well, I definitely think that's a huge part of it. And, it's interesting because I actually spend more time talking to retailers than I have spent trying to talk to end users. Because to me, that is the main
Yeah,
place to
yeah,
start. And, down here in the States, the biggest concerns that, I'm seeing from retailers, besides once you get past like the stigma and the potential legal ramifications, because some people think crypto is illegal. It's interesting when you
right,
get out
yeah.
there. But one of the things that here, and I don't know how it's handled, you guys are Canadian based though, right? Your project is most of your core team is in Canada. Am I
No,
correct?
no, incorrect. So we
Oh,
have
okay.
two core members in Canada, myself and Harry. Harry is he's in BC, so he concentrates on some other stuff that he concentrates on for Verge Currency, which I won't really get into that, but he's deep into what he's concentrating on. But we have core members worldwide. I mean, we got core members in Australia, US, Asia, um, European countries. I mean, we're everywhere. Now, the founder, Justin, he's originally from Florida, but based out of is, I mean, we're not based out of anywhere because we're a fiat, like we're a digital payment option. So we're not based out of anywhere. I just happen to be in Canada.
Gotcha. I always ask, but down here talking to retailers, and I think this is going to be more of a problem as adoption starts to occur, is that the way at least the United States, those are the retailers I'm mostly focused on right now, are American retailers, and most of the problem is that I see going forward the biggest impediment regulatory wise. To crypto adoption by retailers is how the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service in the United States, treats crypto transactions, and they treat it as property. And so the accounting piece for a retailer is a huge challenge. And I've told this to people that most people in crypto that I talk to, even activists, they don't even seem to understand this. Now, I actually, as an entrepreneur, I've actually owned a retail store. And so I know a lot about point of sale, and I know a lot about the accounting and running a
Yeah,
retail business. And I can tell you, unless someone gave me a super compelling sales pitch and solve some problem I was thinking, I wouldn't probably accept crypto as a retailer if I didn't have a recognized problem with other systems.
right.
And I think that going forward, that's going to have to change for retail adoption to really happen, at least in the
Yeah,
States. And why I think that you're not hearing about that right now is because people really aren't using crypto down here in the States for buying and selling goods and services yet. It's a small amount of transactions out there, and they're usually experimental or one-offs, but there's no serious industry that's adopted crypto yet. And I think that that's going to be a problem, and that you're going to hear about probably over the next couple of years as people
yeah,
do start adopting crypto, because that will be the biggest pain point for retailers accepting it. But no one talks about that. And I'm like, dude, this is the problem that we need to be focusing on, not the SEC. We need to be focusing on the IRS.
yep.
I don't know. Does Canada have similar? I don't know how Canada treats crypto as far as taxes and stuff. But is it similar to the U.S. or do they just deal with it differently?
I think you nailed it. We're pretty close to the same. I mean, the government here, I think they implemented something like a questionnaire or something where they're asking people if they own digital currency or cryptocurrency or whatever, but they're not, I think it's still a volunteer thing now, but I believe regulations are coming in June or July or something. I think there's some bigger regulations coming into play, but in June or July up here in Canada. But you absolutely nailed it with the retailer end of things as well, with POS and stuff like that. We see videos on Twitter of like this store accepts XYZ cryptocurrency now, and this furniture store accepts this, and this restaurant accepts XYZ cryptocurrency now. It's like they may accept it, but it's like how many transactions a year are going to happen on cryptocurrency? Right now, very little worldwide. Very, very,
Right.
well, unless you get into some of these other countries, Venezuela, Argentina, I believe Philippines is probably pretty big on cryptocurrency now. But you nailed it. We can go out there and send videos out on Twitter all we want about signing up some 25-seat restaurant that now accepts crypto, but the only transaction they're going to get in a whole year is going to be that guy that signed them up, I'm thinking. So,
Well, and you know, and a lot of maxis we really pissy about you pointing that out, but I agree, and I think the bottom line is that a lot of crypto projects do a really poor job of stimulating demand
yeah,
for
yeah,
people, you know, to create the reason for a retailer to do it. Now, I mean, we have our own strategy with how we're, you know, positioning Tusk to do
yeah,
exactly that, because I do believe that's an issue, and it'll change over time. It's just I think, you know, I'm always trying to think 3-4 steps ahead. You know, I'm not just looking at, oh, I'll sign up this one Uber driver for this one video for this one tip I'm giving him, and now he's a Bitcoin lover, and it's like, okay, that's not really, you know, in my mind, that's not how you seriously get substitution and create a paradigm shift. You have to solve a problem for a lot of people, and you need to be able to have a plan to get your solution to somebody's problem in front of that group of people. And to me, that's basically business and marketing and market segmentation and things like that. But hey, this has been a really good chat. I mean, I don't know enough about Verge, and so I'm glad you took the time to come on the show today and tell me a little about it, and, you know, it and educate me about the project, because I like to hear more about these community projects that are doing things behind the scenes and actually growing right now, and it's not all about the hype and the coin
yeah.
market price and things. Where can people find out more about Verge?
VergeCurrency.com. That's going to have everything probably, you know, that you need on that website. Of course, follow our main handle on Twitter. We're releasing Medium articles. I think we do a dev update on Medium every couple of weeks, and then an outreach or a marketing update every couple of weeks. But you know, I again, for us, it's about awareness. And I want to point out really quickly that you know, it's not all about when moon. You know, for us to get serious in this space and for us to get serious with digital payments, and you know, I'll say it for myself too, we need to mature up. You know, this whole space, the whole people following it, we need to add a little bit more maturity to this space. I get that the bear market is hurting a lot of people. It's hurting myself too, but we've got to push past that. Work as digital payments together. Let's not work on, hey, I'm number one, and I'm the best because I know more people than you. But let's work on the best out of each project, push together as one space. Let's get it to that point where the awareness and the adoption is there, and then focus and fine tune our projects. You know, has Verge had its problems? Absolutely, it has. But I don't know one business out there, and you're an entrepreneur. I don't know one business out there that hasn't had problems. It's
Nope.
have a problem, bring a solution. That's what it's about. Recognizing a problem, how do we push past this problem? How do we move forward so that problem doesn't happen again? That's what it's about. It's not about the problem that happened. It's about how do we not have that problem happen again? Take every cryptocurrency project out there. I think every single one of them has had problems. So let's not focus on the negative. Let's focus on the positive, because the true people in the cryptocurrency space are going to focus on the positive.
I couldn't agree more, Mark. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah, awesome, Rob. I really appreciate the opportunity. I really want to learn more about your project as well, and I hope we can chat again soon.
Anytime.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Rob McNealy program. Make sure you check us out on the web at robmcnealy.com and subscribe to our podcast at YouTube, iTunes, and on the Google Play Store.